What's going on, YouTube family? Today we're going to be talking about why salvage car sales is exploding, what has changed in the last 4 years, and why we expect this market to grow even more. Now, when I started my dealership almost 15 years ago, I remember one of the very first salvage cars that I bought was a Ford Lightning that I got from Copart. There's a little bit of damage on the bed, but the car only had 60,000 miles. It was clean. I repaired the damage and I put it up for sale for $11,000. At that time, it was the cheapest by far. I think ones with over 150,000 miles were selling at that time for somewhere around $15,000 to $18,000. And my phone blew up. And so for the next 2 months, I got the typical sales calls. Hey, this is a great deal. I'm like, yes, did you read the description? The car does have a rebuilt title. It's only got 60,000 miles. The damage was in the bed. Wasn't really that bad. I have pictures if you want to see it. And all I got was like, oh, you're asking too much. I'll give you $5,000 or $3,000 for it. And it was just stupid. And so it took me almost 3 months to sell this car. I ended up going to a family out of California that just bought one just like this that paid $25,000, and they didn't care about the title. They just wanted to drive a Ford Lightning. So it went to a good home. Now, back when I first started my dealership, it was very hard to sell any type of salvage or rebuilt title cars. Anything with flood damage, lemon law, it was really frowned upon. At this time, Carfax, which is a joke, was at their biggest hype. They basically were scaring every consumer and don't buy it if it has an accident. Don't buy it if it's a salvage title. Don't buy, don't buy, don't buy, don't buy. And so literally we had to play in these little rules to only buy certain cars if we're going to finance them. A lot of my banks wouldn't finance salvage cars, lemon law cars, any type of title branding, they wouldn't finance. And so it made selling rebuilt cars that much harder. But a lot of times you can get a really great deal, almost half the cost of a brand new car that has a rebuilt title. So every once in a while I would buy these and keep them on my lot. Now, over the last few years, the market has done a complete 180 when it came to rebuilt titles and salvage cars. Now, why is that? Well, during the pandemic, everyone remembers, everybody lost their mind when it came to buying cars. We were trying to get as many cars as we could, sell them, and just everybody was making a crazy amount of money. And at that time, a lot of people couldn't justify the crazy costs of paying $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over MSRP for a brand new truck. So that's when we started to see the rise of a lot of these salvage and rebuilt cars popping out on the market. Now, I used to buy these cars for next to nothing at Copart back in the day. It was getting a good deal. We'd clean it up. And especially if it's something you're going to drive for 4 or 5 years, it's worth it. As long as you know how to fix it correctly and you do everything right, they are good cars. And so I was buying these like crazy during the pandemic because at that time, banks weren't really like jumping on them. Dealers weren't jumping on them. And so we were buying, salvaged, 2-year-old Silverados for 10, 15K, cleaning them up and turn on selling them for 30, even looking like a great deal because all the other ones are selling for 60 plus. And little by little, we watched salvage cars become almost the same price as clean title vehicles. So that was the first indicator letting us know that the salvage market completely changed. And this gave birth to a whole new group of dealers. These were dealers that sold exclusively salvage or rebuilt vehicles, whether it was flood, fire, theft, vandalism, accidents, whatever the case was, they bought these cars, turned around and sold them. And there was a few locations here in Vegas, I think they were called like Car Savvy. They changed their name like twice, but we started to see this over and over again. And once they started selling these cars, people were selling them at great ends because do you pay $60,000 or do you pay $30,000 for the exact same car? It just happens to have a branded title. Well, people were on a budget. They couldn't afford this. So they started buying more of these salvage and rebuilt cars. And all of a sudden the stigma magically started disappearing. We started seeing regular people with regular families buying these salvage cars. But more importantly, we saw banks change their opinion on the rebuilt title. Now, before I couldn't do any type of salvage cars, but all of a sudden, one of my subprime banks, which is called Westlake, said they didn't care. They preferred SUVs and trucks if they had a rebuilt title. And especially if it was a Latino buyer, they would give us all the money and it'd be a very low fee, which was crazy. They wanted to put these cars back out on the road and they got their money back when it came to repoing them and selling them at the auction. So little by little, we started to see this pickup of salvage cars really hitting the market and it started to explode. And so now there's a lot of people out there that don't think so negatively about the salvage and rebuilt market. Now, I know a lot of people are ingrained for years, and I'm sure people are going to chime in the comment section. No, you never touch a salvage car. They're junk. They're blah, blah, blah. I've had cars totaled out from key marks. I've bought plenty of cars through the years where if you saw the salvage damage, it was absolutely hilarious. If you guys have seen my Tesla Swap 2JZ, that car ran and drove. It literally had a dent on the fender and a dent on the rocker panel. But because it was on the rocker panel close to the bumper, or excuse me, close to the battery, the insurance company totaled it out. The Maserati that I bought for, I think, 10K, same thing. Somebody keyed up that car, wrote a bunch of stuff on it, and the paint job was almost $20,000, so they totaled out the car. So I got a 30,000 mile Gran Turismo for 10K, which was crazy. And so I drove that car for almost 2 years before selling it for almost triple what I bought it for. But these are some of the things that you're able to find at the auction. Just like the Ford Lightning, the back bed was cracked. And especially during the pandemic, a lot of cars are being totaled out for silly reasons. My buddy's Volvo, he bought a brand new Volvo, beautiful car. He got smacked in the bumper. Wasn't that bad, maybe a 20-mile-an-hour accident. But because they couldn't get any parts because all the factories were shut down during the pandemic, his car was totaled out because they couldn't get access to parts. My buddy that had a Cadillac Lyric, if you guys remember those, they were pretty popular for a little while. He bought one of those, same thing, got no small fender bender, maybe 10 grand worth of damage, totaled out because they couldn't get the parts for it. And so little by little, we started to seeing cars getting totaled out even more, which added to even more cars in the market when it comes to salvage cars. And this is where the real big game changer started to happen. Now, back in the day, it was 1 out of every 8 cars would get totaled out when it came to an accident. Fast forward today, it's more like 4 out of 8. Almost 50% of cars made after 2022 are getting totaled out. Why is that? Well, one, if it's an EV, you're guaranteed to get it totaled out because any damage around the quarter panels, the battery, whatever the case is, I'm sure you guys have seen these YouTube rebuild videos. People are buying Teslas, Lucid Airs, even the Rivian trucks with no damage. They still run and drive, but the bumper's damaged. The bed's got a dent in it. Like crazy stuff. They're just totaling them out because they can't get the parts or it costs too much money to repair. Cybertrucks. I've seen Cybertrucks literally with 2 dents in them getting totaled out because it costs too much money to fix these cars. So EV has been the driving force behind a lot of these new cars being totaled out. So if you guys are driving an EV and wondering why is my insurance so expensive, they're getting totaled out at a record rate much higher compared to their ICE counterpart. And because of this, this is one of the other things that's starting to fill the market. Next is electronics. Some of the bottom line Hondas and Acuras and some of these Sonatas and stuff like that that have LED headlights, some of these headlights can cost anywhere from $800 each all the way up to $2,300. I can't remember if it was the Acura, oh God, I'm probably gonna mess it up. It was either ILX or something else, but it was one of these newer models that for some reason they gave them the same LED headlights as an Acura NSX. And so each headlight was almost $2,200. So every time I remember seeing people buying these at the auctions thinking they're getting them for a great deal because they got them so cheap, then they find out that it's gonna cost them almost $4,000 just to get the headlights. So that's what you're starting to see on some of these crazy cars, especially when it comes to some of these other special safety features like collision avoidance, front and back rear cameras. We're talking like on a Honda Civic. Now you're talking thousands and thousands of dollars of new technology that's on an economy car. So if these cars get totaled out, you're looking at another $10,000, $15,000 on top of whatever it's gonna cost to fix that car. And then on top of that, once it gets into the dealership, it's gonna need to be programmed. They're gonna wanna replace other things because everything's gotta match. And little by little, you're gonna start to see this. Another thing is the way they're building up the systems now, where if you replace certain airbags, they don't allow you to reprogram the module or to rebuild it. They're trying to make it where if you blow the airbags, you have to buy all brand new modules and they all have to be coded from the dealer. So even if your dash, let's say airbag goes off in the passenger side, they're gonna make you replace all the airbag modules in that car and get them coded to the car brand new. It's like they're going out of their way to keep it as expensive as it possibly can to fix or keep your car down on the road, which is crazy. I mean, I can go on and on for hours about the crazy stuff that I see new cars doing. Every time I get a TSB update from like Mitchell On Demand or AllData, this is a technical service bulletin, it lets me know on certain cars what needs to be done. I can't remember if it was a new Fiat or if it was a new Dodge. It was one of those two, but like if you replace the motor completely, you have to reprogram or replace the PCM, the power control module, which controls your motor and your transmission, which makes absolutely no sense because that should just tell the motor what to do. But I guess now they're coded together. And on top of that, once you do that, you have to program the TCU, which is the transmission control module, to do the exact same thing. So it's, like I said, it boggles my mind on how crazy cars are getting. So now we've reached the perfect storm. We have cars getting totaled at a record high rate. We have crazy high prices for brand new cars that's making rebuilt and salvage cars look more affordable and a little bit better. And the thing that really changed the game and opened up the market was the fact that banks, credit unions, and subprime lenders were willing to take the chance on financing these types of cars. You can go to your local credit union, local state bank. A lot of these banks have programs where they will finance rebuilt cars. They'll go maybe 80% of Kelley Blue Book value, but still that's better than nothing. You can get a really good deal on a salvage car. I just bought my dad a 2020 Dodge Ram. I think we paid $8,800 for it. We put a bet on it and he's driving it today. And it costed me, like I said, maybe $9,000 after everything was done. And it's got 70,000 miles. He's gonna drive that thing till the wheels fall off. but you could find smoking deals out there when it comes to some of these salvage and rebuilt cars. You just got to pay attention and look for them. And that's what brings me to today's sponsor, myself. Now, I have a new auction site called Auto Auction Pass, where I'm letting you guys bid through my dealer's license to buy cars from Copart, IAA, government auctions, as well as tow yard auctions. Now, we're going to be launching probably at the end of April. So if you want to sign up for early access, go to my link down below. It's autoauctionpass.com, and you'll be able to bid on cars live using my access. So if you don't have a dealer's license, you don't have to worry about it. You guys are bidding through me. It's all online. It's super easy to figure out. I'm super excited. We've already gotten 500 pre-signups, but more importantly, we're going to be charging a flat fee lower than anybody else in the market. My goal is to crush all these other brokers and all these other wholesalers and give you guys the best possible deal if you want to buy something that's either a clean title, salvage, or even like farm equipment. A lot of people don't even know that you can buy forklifts, boats, jet skis. I bought a taco truck off of Copart. Even clean title cars, repos. You can buy all that and a whole lot more on these sites, especially the government auctions. They're absolutely hilarious. So if you want to check out some funny stuff, make sure you sign up, use the link down below. It's Auto Auction Pass. Let's get back in the video. So once the banks started financing all the salvage and rebuilt vehicles, we started to see the market completely change. I started to see cars go from like 50 to 60% of retail value all the way up to 70 to 80% because people are willing to pay a little bit of the difference just because it was a salvage or rebuilt car and it was much cheaper than their counterparts selling for over MSRP or some of the crazy prices that they were listed for at auction or at some other dealerships. And this trend continued for the next 3 years. Now you fast forward to today, I figured that after the market collapsed and everything fell apart, people would slowly start backpedaling out of these deals because banks were losing millions of dollars. But a lot of my bankers that I talked to were surprised because the people that were more budget conscious that ended up buying a salvage or rebuilt car put more money down, they financed less, and they're still making their payments today. Now, they did get quite a few repos, but nothing compared to the people that were paying $200,000 for a Cybertruck, $100,000 over MSRP for one of those freaking H3s or H1s. Just crazy stuff like that people were doing back then. Remember all the people paying $50,000 over MSRP for the Corvettes? Yeah, a lot of those loans are all coming back now because people are paying the exact same amount of money what you get a Z06 for. So now that banks have gotten all the numbers in for the last 4 years, they're going to go ahead and continue a lot of this financing of the rebuilt and salvage title vehicles. And I think because of this, you're going to start to see even more people kind of get drawn to these. Now, in a perfect world, I tell people you want to be careful with these cars. You always want to get them inspected, take them to a shop, go through them because there are some people that repair them correctly. So if you've watched a bunch of us YouTubers, whether it's Matt Armstrong, Tavares, or even some of the crazy cars that I rebuilt, if you do it correctly and you build everything right, you won't have any problems with the car. And so I tell anybody, anytime you buy one of these salvage or rebuilt cars, and when you get it inspected, don't take it to a mechanic shop. You got to take it to a body shop because they can notice stuff really quickly. They can point out the overspray, where the body panel's not lining up. They can tell you whether the seam sealer's been removed, if some of the spot welds are incorrect or not in the right spacing, little things like that can let you know the quality of the repair. Now, anytime you do try to buy one of these, always ask for pictures before because, there are some cars, like I said, that are not really salvaged out too bad, that run and drive perfectly fine. But you do get some of these cars that look like they rolled down a hill, caught on fire, and then exploded at the end. But people still buy these things and try to put them up for sale, which is absolutely crazy. I would never buy one of these cars. I'm sure you guys have seen them online. Definitely do your research and check that out before you do. Now I have to tell you all the bad stuff when it comes to salvage cars. Now, if you do buy a salvage car, there are still a lot of insurance companies that will not insure you. So just to give you a heads up. So before you buy a car, make sure you give a VIN number to your actual insurance carrier and ask them, hey, this title is a rebuilt title. Can you guys insure this car? And they will probably say yes or no. But more importantly, say, what is the value you guys put on some of these? I've seen some insurance carriers put a 30% value on rebuilt cars. So if you have a $100,000, car that you bought and you get it totaled out and they give you 30,000 bucks for it, that's what you're going to get. So it's very important that you need to clear those things up before you go out of your way to buy one of these rebuilt or salvage vehicles. The next thing is, even if you bought a brand new 50-mile, perfectly clean, brand new car, the second the title gets salvaged out, you lose all your factory warranty. Now, I have gotten around this a few times, but it's very, very rare. So 99% of the time, I'm telling everybody this just flat out. If you buy a salvage car and the dealership knows it, you will automatically lose your warranty. So if anybody tells you there's a warranty on this salvage car, you can call them out and say it's BS unless they're selling you an aftermarket warranty. So that's why it's so important to make sure you do the inspections, that the car's, fixed correctly so you don't have a bunch of crazy problems going down the road. Now, another bad thing with this is, unfortunately, shoddy repairs. I've seen people buy salvage or rebuilt cars with really, really bad repairs. And when it came to fixing the car later on, either after an accident or, during some sort of mechanical thing, they weren't able to do that. I saw one Chrysler, I think it was the Pacifica. They welded on the engine cradle because they were too cheap to replace it. So instead of the bolts not lining up, they just welded it to the frame and left it be, and they painted over it. So these are some of the things, like I said, you need to watch out for. And the very last thing that really sucks about having a salvage or rebuilt vehicle is when you go to sell it. Now, it's very hard to figure out a correct pricing. I tell everybody, try to be around 60 to 70% of retail. So if your car is worth $10,000 with a clean title, you need to mark it back to $65,000 to $7,000. That is the correct way to do it. But for some reason, all these people still try to sell their cars for as much as clean title cars. You can get on Facebook Marketplace right now. There's so many trucks that they're trying to sell for literally retail with a salvage or rebuilt title, which is absolutely ridiculous. Don't ever pay that. I don't care how cool the truck is or how rare the car is. I mean, I even see it with exotic cars. I went to look at a Lamborghini Huracan the other day, and the guy said he wanted $150,000 for it. And when I got there, I'm like, okay, it's got a little more miles. It's still worth it. As soon as I saw the rebuilt title, I'm like, bro, this car's like a $100,000 car. I can go buy one with the exact same miles at a clean title for that. And when it comes to exotic cars, it is very, very hard to find somebody that wants to buy that type of car for that cheap. And so if you ever have a rebuilt or salvage exotic car, my advice, don't buy it. The people that buy those cars are so strict on their buying criteria, they don't want to do it. And it's a nightmare. So unless you get somebody that wants to have that flashy, newer Lamborghini, but can't afford it, but they actually have the cash to do it, they might do it. But most people are going to probably want to finance these cars. And I know exotic cars, I don't know a single bank that will finance an exotic car, especially if it has a salvage or rebuilt title. So I would stay away from those. But everything else, boats, trailers, jet skis, forklifts, all kinds of crazy stuff. Like I said, you can literally get on Copart and find all kinds of crazy stuff, or like I said, use my auto auction pass and you guys can bid on there. And this way you get you access to all those things. So if you guys have any questions about salvage cars, I'll be in the comment section for the next hour or so. But I'd love to know your opinion on what do you think of the salvage market? Do you think people are going that way mostly just to save money? Or is it the fact that there's so many new cars getting salvaged, they're totaled out? It's very interesting. I think the market's only going to grow, but we'll see you next time.